This is breaking news.
Information regarding a homicide that occurred in Central Islip, which will explain the reason why we were at this location last night. I also will share a body-worn camera video that shows the heroism of the men and women of this apartment, and if not for the quick actions of police officer Christian Hernandez from the 7th Precinct and Detective Luis Cabrera from the Homicide Squad, this incident could have finished with a horrific tragedy. So on June 19th at 117 Hawthorne Avenue in Central Islip, officers responded to this location in regards to a wellness check. During the investigation, the officers discovered Shayna Stanton dead inside that location. Further investigation revealed that Ms. Stanton was shot several times about the body. The members of the Suffolk County Homicide Squad, under the leadership of Kevin Byer, immediately started investigating this case. During the investigation, the detectives received numerous leads that the subject involved in the homicide of Ms. Stanton was an individual by the name of Gary Jones, who was her boyfriend. Gary Jones is 38 years old and was last known to reside in North Amityville. Mr. Jones also has several prior arrests from robbery, felony drug possessions, grand larceny of auto that touched Suffolk County, Nassau, as well as New York City. The assigned detectives, while conducting multiple leads of the whereabouts of Gary Jones, continued to pursue each investigative avenue they received. The investigators did receive information that Mr. Jones does have an acquaintance that resides at 6B Ticonderoga Court in Ridge. Last night at 8:30 p.m., two investigators assigned to the Homicide Squad responded to that location in an attempt to ascertain the possible whereabouts of Mr. Jones. During that interview, that lasted about 10 minutes, outside the apartment, Detective Jeff Bottari and Detective Joe Russo became aware that Jones was located inside that apartment. Upon learning that Jones was inside the location, the detectives requested the occupants to evacuate for their own safety. At that same time, the detectives requested backup, and multiple officers from the 7th Precinct responded, and we surrounded that location. The two detectives then proceeded into the location, attempted to gain contact with Mr. Jones, and place him under arrest. As the detectives tactically entered the location, Mr. Jones's silhouette was observed by one of the detectives raising his hand and holding a firearm. Jones immediately started firing multiple shots at our detectives. 3 of the rounds went into an adjacent apartment and struck our 3-year-old victim, who was located on a couch. The bullet entered her abdomen and exited out of her back, and shortly after that, the father of our 3-year-old victim pulled her child out of the house and was screaming for help. Officer Hernandez from the 7th Precinct put over a rush for an ambulance. Officer Hernandez, also aware of the potential of danger, moved the parents and our child victim to a safe area out of the line of fire. Recognizing the urgency of a medical emergency, P.O. Hernandez, Detective Cabrera, jumped into a police car and quickly got our victim to a local hospital. P.O. Hernandez was driving, and Detective Cabrera performed life-saving measures to control the bleeding. Upon arrival at Pocomoke Bay Medical Center, Hernandez and Cabrera rushed the child victim into the emergency room and turned her over to the medical staff. Currently, we are happy to report that she is in stable condition. Further investigation back at 6B Ticonderoga Court, our emergency service team and hostage negotiation teams responded. The hostage negotiation team attempted to gain contact with Mr. Jones and were unsuccessful. Emergency service, utilizing a robot, was able to enter the location and ascertain that Mr. Jones took his life by shooting himself in the head. A 9mm was recovered by Mr. Jones's body, This is the same caliber gun that was used in the death of Miss Stanton.